Seven Citizens, Black here from CasaBLACK Gaming, hoping everyone is enjoying 3.19.1. It's been a pretty good experience for me so far, but yet it has still brought with it something that in my eyes is sure to bring about a wipe. Now, this video is not clickbait and I do not have any inside info. I'm just theorizing based on previous actions by CIG, especially over the past year, and so I wanted to discuss what's going on for anyone who might not know, but also this is to set some expectations for what I feel is a very real possibility of a wipe, which to some will definitely come as a surprise, but with any wipe, even those that have been openly communicated months in advance, we still end up having people who are surprised by it anyway. Now, if you like what I normally do, because I generally do not report on clickbait type topics, then please like, subscribe, and comment on this video, and please do keep those comments positive. But also, I'm very understanding of anyone who might be frustrated, so definitely feel like you can vent a little here, especially if it helps you. Just remember that we're all in this together, so I'm not the enemy here, and even if you disagree and think CIG will not wipe with 320, I'd like to also hear your reasons why. Anyway, let me go ahead and get into the details here. So with 3.19 brought about a duping exploit. Now, for those of you who don't know what this exploit is, I will not be going into great details here, but basically because of how the ship saves changed with 3.19, players are able to add various items to their ship, such as handheld weapons on weapon racks, and then you take your ship to a station, store it, go into your vehicle loadout manager, make some kind of change with your components, even if that's just taking one thing off and putting it back on, then you save those changes, and now anytime going forward that you remove those weapons, when you reclaim or repair your ship, it will be restocked and at a cost. Now, this feels kind of wrong, but it also was not a game-breaking exploit. Now, CIG has never responded about this, and so who knows if it was something they knew would happen or intended or not. I'm not here to judge, nor can I, since I've been using it to keep my subscriber flare items restocked, and probably even overstocked, as I like to drop off my favorite weapons on various stations for backup. With the best weapons being things you can only find out in the wild anyway, I have not seen a problem with this, especially with how many items we lose due to server crashes or bugs, and also since the cost of these weapons kind of comes out when you repair anyway. So of course, someone then figured out that the mule could duplicate armor pieces, so that is also a thing, which again I think was fine since it allowed players with hard to find or subscriber flare armor pieces to be able to make sure they had copies of said armor since we have no way of getting them back. Now, this one I did not do myself, as it just felt like a hassle, and the armor I wear has been stuff I usually buy around the verse anyway, with the exception of some of the rare helmet colors that I find out in the wild. So no, I've never done the one-trick pony mule trick here. I call the mule the one-trick pony because basically it finally has a use, which is not to be able to pick up one SCU boxes as it should, but that's another video for another time. So it was only a matter of time before someone realized they could also dupe other things besides those armor boxes that are on there, and so sprang up a couple of videos on how to use the mule or multiple mules to do a lot more harm than just duplicating your gear. Granted, duplicated gear could be taken to a shop and sold, which in turn could be an ill-gotten way to make money, but again, for those who have sold vast amounts of armor at terminals and stores, it's not exactly one of the funnest or less frivolous ways to make money. Half the time I get bored with selling so many items that I've looted off of bunkers anyway, or the terminals bug out to where it's not even how I prefer to make money, but there are some, I guess, that do. Regardless, I don't think you're seeing millions of AUAC being made off of armor like other items can be exploited, and that brings us back around to the multi-mule trick. So taking these smaller packages of drugs that can fit into the mule and duplicating them over and over again has become the new way for some players to exploit the system to make a lot of money. It's definitely icky feeling, and those doing it pretty much know it's not right. Now, of course, being it has not been mentioned by the devs, and because the game is very much an alpha, no one's going to stop doing it until it's patched out, which is, it is what it is at this point. Alright, so I'm not laying blame here and saying players are in the wrong or CIG is in the wrong, but either way we can fully expect a wipe to occur. At this point, the writing is pretty much on the wall. You only need to head to a mining outpost to see more and more mules being left behind by players who have duped those drugs on like Mexican cartel levels. As we've seen with other duping exploits that have occurred in the past, CIG allows these things to go on long enough to where it kind of tanks their economy, and because they are also gathering data about pricing and trade and players buying items, their numbers get fudged, and therefore, when there is a new update, we're going to have a wipe. It's the only way they can currently deal with these dupes and reset their data for how money is being spent or made in the verse, which is how they will be judging and balancing things in the future. Now yes, in other games when dupes happen, especially in MMOs where the economy is very important and sensitive to such things, the issues are normally handled within a few days if possible, and warnings are given to players to stop doing those things or face a suspension. Those devs are usually on top of those issues and they are nipped pretty quickly, or a rollback happens to erase the damage, but CIG does not appear to be in a place to do such things, such as fixing the issue quickly. They are definitely not in a position to do suspensions because that would just not go over well for a game that's in testing, nor should they. So until CIG is able to fix the issues a little bit quicker and on the fly, their only recourse is to wipe when these occurrences happen. Now, wipes suck, I'm not gonna lie. I've been hoping to carry over some of my gains across at least a patch or two, but until CIG is able to deal with these types of issues in a better way, I think we can expect a wipe to happen pretty much every update now. Now this is gonna be a turnoff for some, and not for others, because there are some people who are able to quickly gain so much money that they get bored, so that fresh feeling with a wipe is something they kind of look forward to. I think either way, it's good for the team to face these kinds of issues now instead of it happening when the economy is in more full swing and they are needing long-term economic data. The one area I do wish CIG would improve on now that does not require them to actually fix the issue, but is just to instead to acknowledge the issue. And they could have even tossed out that, hey, they can clearly see when these trackable items are being duped, and so they know which accounts are doing it, and even if it's a veiled threat, just putting that out there I think might cause some people to think twice or stop doing it. They've mentioned in the past that they can see when things like this are going on and had even taken away money from people who had done such things last year and not penalized everyone, even though that kind of also led to some other issues with how their disbursement worked. Now, I'd like to see that approach here instead of a full wipe, but with how many database issues they've had recently, who knows if they want to or are even able to try to go that route again. Now, a quick update: as I was wrapping this video, a bit of news came out of the Hong Kong bar citizen from the weekend, and the devs said that they are aware of the duping exploits and said they're working on a fix, and if the fix is done by the time 320 launches, there could possibly be a wipe. Now, even though this is not an official announcement, it does further my sentiment here, so something to be aware of. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think a wipe is coming? How do you think CIG will handle it? Are you satisfied with how they're actually handling it now? I think there's room on both sides of the aisle here to each have their own opinion, and in the end, feedback is how these issues are going to be resolved. Anyway, remember to be kind to your fellow gamer, just say no to bugs, and stay positive citizens.